So I'm gonna
Good
bring you
afternoon.
guys.
Sorry, I'm feeling lazy.
I'm bringing you guys game. I believe this is game one of Penta versus WND. So this is North. Ragnar Kleber are the banned ships, and we're gonna take a look at this replay here. This is gonna be interesting. Now this is from the perspective of. Whoops. This is the perspective of Penta. I wanted to see Penta's view here in this particular battle. I think this is going to be interesting, guys. This is the game, spoiler alert, this is the game where Penta loses everyone. Every single person. So we're going to go from, we're going to look at this from Valu's perspective. Do I have any advice for a new starter to the game? Which game, Suko? You talk about World of Warships? All right, Puddin', I like what you sent. So is that what you're going to put in for your feedback?
Oh no, it's already been sent, but yeah.
Got it.
I also I hope everybody's still sitting down.
Okay.
When they ask the question, would you like to see carriers and subs? I put yes.
Great. Why not? If they've been added to the game, what the hell? Let's look at it in a competitive environment.
Why not?
And for those who are upset about carriers or subs being in the game, having them showcased on in a tournament, I think is important because it will possibly expose the strengths and weaknesses of those ships. All right, Blazing Suko. Advice for you as a new player in World of Warships. 1. Do not give up. 2. Do not let people get to you. Early on, especially as a new player, people are going to do stupid, toxic things like stat shame you. They're going to call you out. They're going to say you're a bad player, etc., etc., etc. Don't listen to them because I'll tell you what, you can do whatever the hell you feel like when you've downloaded the game and you logged in, just like they can. So I would say that first and foremost. The community as a whole is generally positive. As you work your way up the tiers, though, it can turn more and more toxic. So I would say take your time moving up the tiers. Do not shoot straight up to a tier 10. Take your time. Play tier 2, play tier 3, play tier 4. Rotate through the different ship lines. Don't just focus on one. And I think most important, have fun. If you're not having fun, do something else. A different game or a different game mode. Nothing wrong with playing co-op. There's nothing wrong with playing operations. There are plenty of people who only play co-op. There's even community contributors that only play co-op. There are plenty of people that primarily play scenarios. Why? Because at the end of the day, you just want to relax, have fun, and win. And frankly, I can't disagree with people who want to do that. Alright, Grozovoy. WND brings a Grozovoy in this match. Montana, Kremlin, Brizzy, Des Moines, Moscow, Hargamo to Grozovoy, Daring, enemy team. Ohio, Brizzy, Des Moines, Moscow, Gumo, Gearing, Daring. You guys are swinging to the fences. WND is doing what we saw them do, I think, on Shatter. They are going hard at A, it looks like. Even being radared for a minute.
You want to pause it for 1 second?
Sure, give me a sec. Let me tab into the game. Paused, sir. What's up? What's good?
This has nothing to do with the game in hand. This is more for Blaze, so I didn't want us to miss out on this.
Alright.
I think the one thing that Jath forgot to mention is try the different ship lines also. Do not, and I mean this sincerely, do not get out of tier 4 until you feel comfortable playing the game, you understand the basics. The reason I say that is, as a new player, I believe it's 100 games or so, you are in what is referred to extreme protected matchmaking. You are protected from people like me who have thousands of games played. You
in every
never,
ship.
yeah, you will never see me until you break that 100 played games marker. There are people that play nothing but tier 5 premiums to harass and shame and make the existence of new players' lives pure misery.
Mm-hmm.
Staying at tier 4 means you will only ever see tier 5 because some of these guys do tier 6 and tier 7.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Tier 4 is still protected matchmaking, and you only see tier 5s. It's the highest tier you will ever see. It gets you comfortable with facing higher tier ships.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. It'd be nice if it was longer, more battles. But I agree with Puddin. And, you know, you should feel comfortable at the very least in cruisers, battleships, and destroyers. If you want to delve into carriers at tier 4, you're going to hate it because tier 4 sucks for carriers. You want to delve into subs at tier 6, you're going to hate it simply because by the time you get there, you better know your other classes. So, at the very least, learn the core battleship, cruiser, destroyer, and figure it out. Blaze, I'm glad that you appreciate the advice. This community here on this channel is extremely positive, extremely helpful, and you're always welcome to send me replays. You're always welcome to join my Discord. There's the link right there in chat. You can join the Discord. You can ask any questions you want. Nobody is going to come down hard on you for asking a dumb question, because there are no dumb questions when you're a new player. Falcon says he's been playing for 4 years. He is still learning. As he can attest from yesterday even, we took a look at his Kamikaze game, and there were things to learn from that game. We didn't completely trash him. We didn't say that he's a terrible player, he should uninstall. What we did was we helped give him feedback so that he can learn from that feedback, and that's direct feedback with his gameplay, not some super unicum that's going around and just wiping the floor with stupid overpowered ships. Can we continue?
Can you, SAT? Yeah.
All right, let's continue. Oh, I need to tab back into the game. Lol. Here we go. You've been playing for 7 years and I'm still learning, Seal. I don't know everything there is to know about subs. I don't really want to, but I don't know everything about subs. So first contact's been made. Penta is on the back foot at A cap, although your daring is ready to go in. Penta already has C cap, and they are starting to rotate forces to the middle of the map. Argo, Des Moines, and Ohio getting ready to work their way northward. Here's a gearing smoke. Corrosive wave detected by the Brisby radar. Is that Brisby spotted now? Ugh. Looking too much. I can't tell. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a replay bug. Whenever the player scopes in or out, it snaps to their view. But Kitty Mod has to be detected. The daring has to be detected. He's quite low. He's getting hammered. What is spotting him? I'm guessing that's Moskva radar. Look at WND. Kremlin, Moskva down the 4 line. This is most likely a legendary mod gearing seal. We could take a look at it later if we want to. His concealment is at 11.1 right now. He must have fired his guns. Yeah, he did. Let's see what is... Yeah, 5.6. He's a unique upgrade gearing. We've seen that with pretty much every gearing except for one today. Excuse me, I'm going to turn my AC unit down a little bit farther because I am getting warm. The dirty water.
Problem solved, sir.
So, nice job kiting away. The daring dies trying to get A cap. That's unfortunate, but if you saw the daring's position, he had no vision of the Kremlin Moskva push down the 4 line because he was so close to that island at A. So that completely surprised Penta. That was a good surprise. Argo Des Moines set up to go through the C cap and get behind WND. I like this play. The Ohio rotating back to help defend against the Kremlin Moskva push. Dino now detected, being shot at in the Moskva. Guys, ask questions as you're going along. There is no delay, so I can answer questions as things happen. Yes, minimap, 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 as Nifty says. Good point. Cheers, Nifty. Nunata, I want to respect what you said, and I understand saying you just let warships get away with whatever the heck they want to. To a certain extent, there is a belief amongst wargaming that the players do not know what they want. Sith Kitten, to me, that is a bit disrespectful. Why are you here? I'm gonna say, and Kitten, I mean all due respect to you as a mod too, by the way. He's here because he's passionate about the game. And I think that's important to highlight. We are all passionate about this game. I think that the problem, Unada, is that there's a difference between a perception of the game and the reality of the game. We as players have a perception of the game, and we have a certain idea of the reality of the game, but the perception and reality cannot be the same. I think the problem is that we don't have all the data. We certainly don't know exactly what's going on with wargaming. By the way, look at this dodging here as Valu is forced to just go crazy here to dodge the Des Moines radar. Nicely done surviving. I think the biggest problem, if I can get on my soapbox and start my TED talk, is that some players do know what they want, and some players don't. And I think that wargaming is in a position where World of Warships needs to serve multiple different purposes, and is difficult for him to do so. Look at what's happening, by the way. Penta trying to circle around. I like it. There are players that play co-op. There are players that play operations. There are players that play competitive. There are players that play randoms. And frankly, there are times historically when players were involved in decision making that ended up in failure. A case in point is the Graf Zeppelin release. That Graf Zeppelin release, the players were allowed to participate in the balancing process, and what we ended up with was a Graf Zeppelin that was stupidly OP. I'm talking about the RTS style. Now, the rework completely changed that, but up until that point, the Graf Zeppelin was a BS ridiculous ship. Hello, Gauss Warrior. So I would say, in the process of that, we as community contributors who remember those days, remember the community making those changes, and it led to Warships realizing, hey, I think Wargaming realized players don't necessarily know how to balance this game. Let's pause for a sec. Look at the line formed by Penta. Look at the line formed by WND. At this point, it's still anybody's game. Penta down one ship does not mean that this is the end of the world for Penta. And they are continuing to hold. They're continuing to believe they can win. Moskva is quite low on the enemy team. That's Dino. Being forced back. He's dark right now. Nobody's got any shots on him. I wonder if there's a Moskva or Des Moines that could radar him. That could mean getting a kill. Oh, point is extremely low in the Haragumo. He's forced to smoke up, make Inky, as I like to call it, and back off. And he dies. Now you're down 2 ships. More importantly, there's no vision north of sea anymore. You are radio located. So, there are actually times that players can make wargaming do something ravenous. It's just relatively rare. The biggest metrics that wargaming sees, and this goes from years ago, but I think it is still important to understand. There are 2 metrics that wargaming looks at, right? Obviously, there's the monetization side. How much is wargaming making off of this game? How much are players spending? Now, I've seen a lot of posts, not so much recently, but a while ago, right? My wallet is closed. I am done spending in this game. My reaction to that is, great. If you feel a certain way, then don't spend money if you're not happy. The problem is that a lot of those players who say that turn around and what do? Spend money. And believe me, Wargaming has those numbers too. The other side of it is the number of people playing the game. And steadily speaking, that has been in decline per Hapafod, or what he's been noticing. Even C-Raptor's been noticing that with his quarterly reviews. But I will say that the game is still healthy-ish to the point where I don't think Wargaming is concerned. Now, once Wargaming is concerned, we'll start seeing changes. Maybe it will be too little too late. I don't know. Montana kills Des Moines. Ah, that was Mugu. He got stuck there. He couldn't move, and Montana came around the corner, smacked him in the face. You see a lot of one-sided games at tier 9 and 10. It is a joke. You know why? It's a joke because people failed their way up to tier 9 and 10. Once upon a time, it was so credit intensive that if you were looking to get a Brisbee spotted shooting, by the way. Oh, it feels bad. Oh no. So you're gonna dodge these torps, but is your Brizzy gonna dodge these torps? I think so. Perhaps. In any case, once upon a time, taking a tier 10 ship meant that you better be good in that ship, because if you're not and you die right away, you lose a lot of credits. There's a reason I rarely ever played tier 10, and frankly, it's because of that. Why do I want to play a tier that punishes me for taking that ship out unless I do it really well in that game? Wargaming changed that by selling permanent camos. Why haven't you DCP'd, by the way? Oh, because you're on radar. You lose on radar. He's trying to dodge. And there is, many of you guys know this on my stream, I always take death pics. If I get a replay to take a look at, I will take pictures of them dying. So I'm going to go ahead. Actually, I kind of like this pic. Look at this. A dead Gearing with a Brisbane all around in behind smoke. I like this. Okay, while all this has been happening, Silverblade in the Ohio moving into the channel. He's quite low. At this point, you're down 5 ships to 0. 5 ships to 0. Torpedo hit in smoke. That's good. I'm sure you're setting that off to Kitty Mad. As Blood Legends Moskva dies. And I'm sure Silverblade's Ohio is coming. That leaves Bots All Day's Daring. That leaves Kitty Mod's Brisbane. And that leaves El Snackman's Ohio for left. And you love death pics. I do too. Cheers. So, in any case, one of the important things, there goes the daring. One of the important things for me personally, and I think you guys see it in my my streams, I always try to look at the positive on things. You can say all you want that the game is dying. It hasn't yet died. When it does die, I mean, I'll be looking for a new game to stream. Any mod goes down to the Moskva. Ouch. I'll be looking for a new game to stream, as well a lot of other people. And again, if I can get on my TED Talk high horse, I think a lot of World of Warships streamers don't understand that if they are a part of the problem, then they're hurting themselves long term. Snackman, the sole Survivor Penta player, is going to go down in the 15-minute mark. WND is going to win this handily. Wow. There he goes. Alright guys, let's take a look at the replay render. Whoops. Right map, wrong render. Give me a sec. Here we go. Roll the Waves 3? Really? I'll have to check that out. Patton is exactly right. The game's not gonna die. Of
How many
Wargaming's products, the only one that's really died, in my opinion, is World of Warplanes. But even that is still surviving, believe it or not.
how many times has ships died now?
How many times has World of Tanks died? I think that's the bigger question.
Oh,
I
well,
mean,
that doesn't count.
I think it does because World of Tanks has premium ammunition,
Ugh.
right?
Do you have to remind us?
I do because believe it or not, there are people calling for premium ammo in World of Warships.
Oh God, that's the worst idea. I'd rather deal with subs and carriers.
Now, I will tell you guys this: if premium ammunition comes to World of Warships, I will not use it. I don't care if Wargaming gives me premium ammunition. I will not use it. SAP is just premium ammo? No, I disagree, Pac. I think it's overtuned. I think it does too much damage, but I don't think it's premium ammunition.
I dare say I think SAP is fine.
SAP is an attempt by Wargaming to make another kind of ammunition choice that acts differently, kind of an in-between between HE and AP, right? Can't cause fires, but it has better penetration.
But I mean, the thing with SAP is, yeah, your initial rounds,
Hey,
man,
Joey.
they're slapping somebody.
Yeah,
But how many times does a ship get away because your SAP just is not doing damage because it's saturated?
saturation is a thing. And SAP can bounce, it can also be shattered. So, it's not. So, guys, premium ammunition is if you were to take, let's take a Des Moines AP shell and let's put that on, I don't know, a Hindenburg. That's premium ammunition, right? Or even better, let's take a Des Moines shell and put that on the Hipper at tier 8. That's when it becomes stupid. So here's our game, Penta losing against WND. I love to see it. I heard about this. Some context for you guys, a little behind the scenes. I know you guys love behind the scenes King of the Sea stuff. Depleted uranium shells. So we were planning to cast a different game in our second matchup today. And before we went live, we got pinged by, I believe it was M. Jester, who said, hey, what do you think about switching games? Because some of the games you guys have planned are frankly not competitive. And I went ahead and I took a look at it. And Jester was right, absolutely. There were three teams that had a very low chance of progressing into next weekend. And so Raptor and I, along with oh god, what's his name? Just Shag and EU. We looked at it and we kind of said, yeah, you know what? You're right. This is 15 minutes before we went live. 15 minutes before we went live. And obviously, Chegg can't make the decision because it's not his decision to make. That's Seraphus's. And Seraphus said, okay, let's make the change. We agreed that game 1, Suki, was worth watching because Suki took Penta down a game yesterday. We agreed that Vor versus Penta in our third matchup was a fantastic setup. But we also agreed that KSC really, even if they won that series 2-0, it kind of didn't matter. So we changed that to Shaft versus Rain. And I'll tell you what, that was a good decision because we got some really good games there. The point I'm trying to get at, guys, is that I know for you as the viewer, you're looking at it and you're like, hey, but we're looking at it and we're trying to bring you guys the best matches that we can, and I hope you guys all appreciate that. Unfortunately, it was at the expense of some of the streamers because some streamers had already scheduled themselves based off of what we were scheduled for, and then we went ahead and made an audible. Oh well.